What's going on, guys? Super Insane 18 here, and today I am bringing you the deck that I went undefeated with at my sneak peek or premiere event, whatever you want to call it. Won me this amazing mat and the Crimson Dragon Ultra Rare promo, and that deck is going to be Purrely Spright, so let's go ahead and show you guys what we got. Kicking things off with the Purrely monsters, we are playing 3 copies of Purrely and only 2 copies of Purrely. Now, this is something that I wanted to do because I felt that Purrely was the better card for a not pure Purrely deck, but I think that I was wrong, and moving forward I might swap the ratios, playing only 2 of the Purrely and 3 of the Purrely. I just ran into instances where I really needed another quick play in my hand, and unfortunately the Purrely doesn't do that. It can get you the My Friend, which can get you one, but there were a lot of times where I just needed an additional one, and the Purrely is definitely better for that, so that might be a change that I make moving forward. But this worked relatively well, obviously. You know, I went undefeated, so can't really complain about it. Just want to let you guys know the changes that I might make, but that is it for the Purrely monsters. Now we're going to get on to some of the weirder stuff here. We are playing 3 copies of Nimble Angler, and you might think that that is awful, but honestly this card is one of the best cards in your deck that you want to draw every time, and that is because if it is sent from your hand or deck to the graveyard, you can summon 2 more Nimbles, so we are playing 3 copies of Nimble Beaver. But the more important part about that is that all of your Purrely quick plays are pseudo E-Tellies for the deck, but they have to discard. So what you can do if you discard a Nimble Angler, you're able to not only get full Purrely combo, but then you can also get full Spright combo as well, because now you're able to put 2 level 2s on board, and that's all you need for that. Onto the actual Spright monsters. It is a small package with only 3 copies of Spright Blue, 1 Jet, 1 Red, and 1 Carrot. At the end of the day, this isn't a Spright deck, it is a Purrely deck, so you don't want to go ahead and clog your stuff with Sprites, which is why we are playing such a minimal package, but you want to make sure that you have them because all of the Purrely XYZ monsters are also rank 2s, meaning that if you're not able to get into your Purrely engine, but you can get into your Spright engine, you can just hard make the Purrely monsters, and then what you can do with that as well, let's say you go for something like Plump, you can go ahead and use 2 level 2s to make the Plump, suck up spells and traps from the graveyard, and still end up getting it with enough materials to make a Nor, especially because you can use something like Double Cross to then put something underneath one of your rank 2s. It's really good, it's really consistent, and I'll show you guys at the end what we're able to do with it. Then we are playing some hand traps. We're on 2 copies of Droll and Lockbird, 2 copies of Ash Blossom, and 2 copies of Ghost Bell. So the reason we are playing 2, 2, and 2 instead of just 3 and 3 is because with the Nor and the Sleepy Memory, we are able to draw anywhere from 2 to 6 cards during our opponent's standby phase. So I want to make sure that the interruptions and hand traps that we're able to draw are varied, that way we have more options to stop our opponent with. Now, I do still believe that board breakers are better than hand traps for this current format, but since we are drawing cards in our opponent's standby, unfortunately board breakers don't really do much in this specific scenario. I don't want to draw something like a Dark Ruler or a Book of Moon on my opponent's standby because it's unusable, but I do want to draw a hand trap that I would be able to use. Now, that's going to be it for the monsters. Onto the spells. We have 3 Sleepy Memory. This is the best memory in the deck, especially now that we have the new Nor XYZ, which I'll explain when we get to the extra deck, but this one can just be activated for absolutely free. It's the one that makes the Nor, it's the one that lets you draw. Sleepy Memory should have gotten the super in the OTS. This is just an insane card. We have 3 copies of Pretty Memory, 3 copies of Happy Memory, and of course the 1 Delicious because it got limited. This is the max number of Purrely quick plays that we are able to play, so we want to make sure that we are playing that at max, because again, they are pseudo E-Tellies, and they all give you additional effects as well if they are under a Purrely XYZ. We have our 1 copy of Street. You're able to search this off of the Purrely, so you don't really need to play multiple copies. This makes your stuff unaffected and can also put additional quick plays underneath your XYZs during the end phase. So that's how you get to the draw 6 combo more often than not. We are on 3 copies of My Friend Purrely. This is just a way to search for any of your quick plays. You can also reveal 3 of the same name, so if you didn't open something like Sleepy, but you really need Sleepy for the combo, reveal 3 Sleepy. Your opponent randomly chooses 1. Oh, look at that, of course it's Sleepy. So yeah. We have our 1 copy of Spright Starter for the Spright engine. Again, the Spright engine is very minimal, so we don't need to play too much of it. We are on the 1 copy of Purrely Yeep. You are able to set this directly from your deck now that we have the new Purrely XYZ, and our 1 copy of Double Cross, which is not only an interruption, but can also help you feed into the combo. There are certain combos where you're able to set the Yeep and you have a Purrely XYZ, but it doesn't have one of the Purrelys under it, because maybe you linked it away to get into your sprint or something like that. Before you rank it up using the Yeep, you can go ahead and use the Double Cross, target the rank 2 Purrely XYZ, put a Purrely from your grave underneath it, then rank it up into the Nor, and you have your full combo. That's going to be the main deck at 40 cards. Let's show you guys the extra. For the Purrely XYZs, we are playing 2 copies of Beauty and 1 copy of Happiness. Now, in testing, Beauty was the better one, but in actual gameplay application, I think Happiness is the better one, so I might switch these ratios around the same way that I would with the Purrely and the Purrely, play only 1 Beauty and 2 Happiness. There was one game that I almost lost because I didn't have a second Happiness. I summoned out the Happiness, he Book of Moon, I used the carrot to negate. He had a second Book of Moon, and I just couldn't do anything because I didn't have the second Happiness, but I had 2 rank 2s on board, so making the second Happiness would have been very easy, so I might swap those out. We have our 1 copy of Plump. This one isn't as important anymore with Delicious being at 1, but it is still really cool because you can hard make it using any 2 level 2s, and with that you're able to just suck up resources from the grave and make it big, and yeah, not much needs to be said. The best card in the deck, Purrely Nor. This does so much for the deck and raises the ceiling immensely. Not only can it just be made with Sleepy Memory, which is good enough in and of itself, but if you activate one of the Purrely quick plays and you use the effect to then attach it as material, you're able to set a Purrely trap from your deck, meaning that you no longer need to search or find a way into the Eep. You just have a built-in engine way of doing it, and it's really easy to do. So yeah, definitely an incredible card to get in Duelist Nexus. We have our 2 copies of Nor. This is just kind of as like a grind game. I didn't really get in any grind games. It was pretty much I made the Nor and then I just won. But if you are put in a grind game, having a second one is definitely good because your opponent might be able to out 1, but what are the chances of them outing 2? And then we have our Sylvan Princess Spright. This is just a way to get into additional quick plays if you have 2 of your level 1s on board, and you really need a quick play. You can play the gambling game and reveal the top card and hopefully get it. Then we have our Gigantic Spright and our Gin Buster. These are part of the combo for the Spright engine. You're going to be able to make sure that you end on like a Nor, a Gin Buster, a Sprint Bounce, and the Double Cross set, so it's like really good. So the Gin is just an additional form of interruption. Of course, we have our Downard and our Zeus. I kind of want to try to fit a second Zeus in. Just because Kashtira is still seeing play, and the ability of them to rip out the Zeus is definitely still there, but right now the extra deck's a little tight, so I don't really have room for it, but I'll try to figure something out. Then we have our Nightmare Cerberus, our Nightmare Phoenix, and our Spright Sprind, and that is going to do it for the Link 2s. These are just generic and really good to make in niche scenarios. This is actually part of the combo, so yeah, that's going to be it at the extra deck. Let's show you guys what the deck can do. Alright guys, so now we're going to show you one of the best combos in the deck, and that is using any memory plus Angler and a discard, so a 2.5 card combo, and the memory can be anything, but I'm going to show you with Sleepy Memory, so just keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and show you guys what we're going to do here. So we're going to start off by activating the Sleepy Memory, which is of course then going to be able to discard our Angler to summon out our copy of Purrely rather. Now we have a couple of options, and the way that I usually like doing it is by chain blocking the Purrely, because the Purrely is a little bit more important. So we'll go Chainlink 1 Purrely, Chainlink 2 Angler in Graveyard. Angler is of course going to be able to summon 2 copies of Nimble Beaver from our deck, and then the Purrely is going to add us our copy of My Friend. Here we can go ahead and activate the My Friend and pay 500 to reveal 3 with different names, or they don't have to be different names, my bad. 3 just Purrely quick plays. So we're going to reveal our Delicious and double Sleepy. Now you always want to make sure you have Sleepy, so if you didn't open the Sleepy, you're just going to reveal 3 Sleepy here. But in this instance, since we open the Sleepy, Delicious is the next best one. So we're going to say our opponent randomly chooses one, so we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for a dice roll. So we got 5, 6, so we get to add the Sleepy, which is really good for us. The other 2 get shuffled into the deck, and now we are really good to play. We're going to go ahead and use the effect of Purrely, ranking it up using the Sleepy in Graveyard to summon out our copy of Purrely Nor, and then we can activate our Sleepy, and using the effect, we're going to use the Nor to then attach it as material, which will allow us to set the copy of Purrely Yeep from our deck to our side of the field. We'll then resolve our Sleepy Memory using our our discard to summon out our copy of Purrely. Sorry, keep messing those up, but copy of Purrely. Here we're going to be able to use the Purrely effect on summon, and just to show you guys that it's not important to hit anything off of this, we're going to intentionally make sure we miss. Oh no, we didn't reveal any Purrely spell or traps, so they will go back to the bottom of the deck in any order, and now we're good to continue on with our turn. Here we're going to go ahead and use the Purrely and the Beaver, and this is going to go into our copy of Spright Sprind, and Spright Sprind will activate on summon, which will allow us to send another copy of Nimble Angler. Now, if you didn't know, Nimble Angler is not a once per turn effect, meaning that the one Beaver left in deck we can go ahead and summon now off of the Nimble Angler effect. Now we've done everything that we need to do with our Purrely engine, so we're going to use both of our Nimbles, and we're going to overlay them into our copy of Gigantic Spright, which we can then activate its effect to summon out our copy of Blue from the deck. Blue will activate on summon, allowing us to add any Spright monster, which in this case is going to be the Jet. We can then go ahead and special summon the Jet and use its effect to add our copy of Double Cross. Here what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and overlay both of these into our copy of Djinn Buster, set our Double Cross, and pass our turn. So now the end board that we have here is we have a bounce off of Sprind, a monster negate off of the Djinn Buster, a potential interruption with the Spright Double Cross. The Purrely Nor in this instance is going to draw 2 cards because we got lucky and hit the second Sleepy, and then we can rank it up into our Nor and draw another 2 cards. So we're going to be drawing 4 on our opponent's standby with the Sprind, the Djinn Buster, and the Nor. So let's go ahead. Everything you're going to see at this point on is happening on the opponent's standby phase. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle up just so that the draws are incredibly random here. So we're going to go ahead and pass turn. In our opponent's standby, we're going to go ahead, use the effect of Sleepy Memory to draw 1 card, use the effect of Sleepy Memory to draw 1 card. Look at that, we hit a hand trap. Then on resolution, we have a couple of options. If we want to make a 5 material Nor, we can go ahead and double cross and put something under the Purrely Nor, but I'd rather have this as a different form of interruption. I don't think making the Nor unaffected is entirely important, honestly. So we're just going to go ahead and activate the Purrely Eep. That is going to allow us to summon out the big Nor over the little Nor, which I have right here. And then because it is still standby phase and this is now a different monster, we can use the effects of Sleepy again. So draw 1, we hit another hand trap, draw 1. So now what we ended up doing is we have our Sprint Bounce, which is 1 interruption, our Djinn Buster, which is 2nd interruption, 2 bounces off of the Nor, so that's 4 interruptions, a 5th interruption with Spright Double Cross, a 6th interruption with a hand trap that we drew, and a 7th interruption with a hand trap that we drew. So now we have 7 interruptions off of a 2.5 card combo, and that is why I really like Purrely Spright. And there you guys have it. That is going to be my undefeated Purrely Spright deck profile for the Duelist Nexus sneak peek. If you guys liked it, you know the deal. Make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, like, comment, share with friends, maybe consider supporting me on Patreon. Don't forget to check out the channel sponsor Dueling Guard using my code INSANE18 for 5% off your entire purchase. And again, the Fusion double-sided metal field centers are up for pre-order now. They were actually just finished in production, so I'll put that on the screen somewhere. They look amazing. Make sure you pick yours up before they're gone. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.